All right, Sir Rolland, you wrote a new book. Why did you write this book?
Well, Squire John, I wrote the new book because there's lots of dragons in the world today. Dragons are sins, they're temptations, they're obstacles to becoming saints, they're darkness, Goodness and beauty and truth is what we need from the light of Christ, and dragons take what is good and true and beautiful and they corrupt it into evil, false, and ugly. So we need a new generation of dragon slayers, and my hope is that the kids and parents who read this book will grow into be great dragon slayers, and it will train them to be the saints God created them to be.
That's awesome. Now, there's a lot of dragons in this book. Have you ever been wounded by one of these dragons?
Have I ever been wounded by one of these dragons? Well, it's funny you should ask that, Squire John, because the book is a story of how I grew up going through the Dragon Slayers Academy, and it's kind of embarrassing, but I tell stories about how I was wounded by each and every one of these dragons. So it takes a lot of confidence to write about your faults and your failures, but I did that so that these other kids and parents don't trip up the same with the same dragons I did all the time. So yes, I've been wounded by many dragons, and they will hear the stories, just like the great stories of the past, like St. Augustine wrote the Confessions, and I'm not comparing my work to St. Augustine or anything, but sometimes we got to talk about our faults to help keep other people safe from dragons. So they're gonna hear my dirty laundry in this book about what I did as a kid, and how I got wounded by each of the seven deadly dragons.
How did you earn the title Knight of the One True Light?
Well, you're going to have to read the book to discover how I earned that title, Squire John, because as you go through the Dragon Slayers Academy, which I did as a young lad, you go up each of the ranks. You start off with a Squire of Our Lady, and then you earn the next rank and the next rank, and finally the final rank, after you learn all the weapons and the virtue and the armor that it takes to defeat each of the seven deadly dragons, you finally earn the rank Knight of Light. And since I'm strive to be faithful to Jesus, who is the one true light, I've earned the title Knight of the One True Light.
Yeah, that's all really fantastic. Where is the Dragon Slayers Academy?
The Dragon Slayers Academy is kind of where I grew up, on the island of Radicus. It's on the Viaticus Islands. The Viaticus Islands are.
Yeah, where is the island of Viaticus?
They're located in the Transient Sea in the middle. There's 7 islands, and it's the central island of the 7 islands that are located in the Transient Sea.
Where's the Transient Sea?
The Transient Sea surrounds the 7 islands of Viaticus.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
So what about the artwork of this book? Tell us a little bit about that.
The artwork, oh man, the artwork is exquisite. So most of the dragons were designed by my lovely daughter, Lady Hannah. My son, Sir Isaiah, helped with some of the dragons and the armor and the weapons. And I got to tell you, the artwork is fascinating. It draws the kids in. Who doesn't like to see a cool-looking dragon? And these dragons, they're going to grab your attention. It's kind of like life. Sometimes we're tempted to sin, and we're tempted to these things, and dragons can be alluring. They can look pretty cool, and these dragons do look cool, but ultimately we need to slay the dragons. So that's the goal of the book, is to slay the dragons, and the artwork kind of gives it a visual of what the dragon might look like if it were actually a real creature. But again, just reminding everybody, dragons are sin, they're temptations, they're obstacles to becoming saints that we face in everyday life.
Do you have a favorite dragon image in the book?
And my favorite looking dragon, I'd have to probably say the blue dragon, because blue is my favorite color, and the blue dragon has like lightning in the wings. Like, how cool is that? Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is your hope for the kids and the parents who read this book?
My hope for the kids and parents is that they might be inspired by the book and by the stories to want to be dragon slayers, and that they ultimately get to the desire to grow in their faith, to grow in virtue, to be knights of light and ladies of grace, so that they can slay dragons themselves and ultimately set their hearts on fire so that they can spread this message and spread the light of Christ to the whole world.
That's awesome. Any final thoughts, Sir Rolland? It's been an honor talking to you today.
Well, I just want to encourage the parents and kids out there that God made you to be great saints, and that starts by being dragon slayers. So I'm praying for you. I really hope you enjoy the book. And until we get to meet in person, I will leave you under the protection of St. Michael the Great Archangel, St. Joseph the Terror of Dragons, and Mary, Queen of the Angels, Our Lady of Grace, and the woman whose seed crushed the head of the dragon.